우리는 매일 가능성의 한계에 도전합니다. 누군가는 우주 속 차가운 진공 상태에 이르기도 하고 또 누군가는 심해 깊은 곳으로 다가갑니다. 우리는 보이지 않는 나노의 세계로 들어갑니다. 우리는 감각이 느낄 수 없을 정도로 축소하고 또 축소합니다. 10배, 100배, 1000배, 몇 번이고 되풀이하여 10억 분의 1m로 축소합니다. 나노의 세계에 오신 것을 환영합니다. 우리는 이곳에서 로직칩, 3D 낸드 메모리와 같은 강력하고 작은 것을 만듭니다. 원자들로 만들어진 하나의 도시라고 할 수 있죠. 믿을 수 없을 정도로 아주 작은 이런 것들은 어떻게 설계되고 만들어질까요? 이곳은 극한의 환경입니다. 압력과 온도를 이용해 형상을 만들고 플라즈마로 태양의 표면보다 더 뜨겁게 이온을 가열하는 이 낯선 곳에서 우리는 원자를 배열하고 분자를 적층해 구조물을 쌓아 올립니다. 실리콘은 훨씬 더 효율적인 전도체로 변형됩니다. 충격을 받고 파괴된 결정체 구조가 순식간에 복구되면서 전도력이 크게 증가됩니다. 이제 우리는 한층 한층 쌓아 올립니다. 이 구조는 곧 수십억 개 메모리 셀들의 보금자리가 됩니다. 우리는 재료를 쌓고 제거하고 변화시킵니다. 쌓인 것이 벗겨지며 드러나는 거대한 계단이 원자로 만들어진 대도시에 전력을 공급합니다. 그 다음 구멍을 뚫을 준비를 합니다. 미세한 작업을 수행하기 위해 우리는 이온으로 구멍을 뚫습니다. 표면을 보호하는 마스크에 구멍을 뚫고 구멍들이 완벽하게 정렬되어 있는지 검사합니다. 우리는 각 층에 적합하도록 공정을 변경하면서 계속 구멍을 뚫습니다. 기체를 고체로 변화시켜 그 구멍들이 채워질 때까지 분자를 쌓습니다. 아주 작은 결함 하나가 칩 전체를 무용지물로 만들 수 있습니다. 우리는 원자 한 개 두께의 오차 범위에서 아래로, 옆으로 제거해야 할 부분들만 애칭합니다. 이제 10km에 달하는 금속이 하나의 칩에 쌓입니다. 이 한 개의 칩으로 수십억 개 메모리 셀에 전력을 공급합니다. 8개의 칩으로는 로봇 눈 속 픽셀 하나를 밝히면서 갤럭시를 지켜냅니다. 우리는 더 나은 미래를 만들기 위해 계속해서 가능성의 한계에 도전합니다. 바로 이곳에서 우리는 혁신적인 기술로 더 똑똑하고 더 안전하며 더 지속 가능한 세상을 만듭니다. 상상할 수 있는 모든 것이 재료공학에서 시작됩니다. 당신이 무엇을 상상하든 우리는 그것을 나노 세계에서 만들어내는 방법을 그려낼 수 있습니다. 이곳이 바로 우리가 일하는 곳입니다.
It's great to join you at SemiCon Korea, and thanks to Semi for giving me the opportunity to speak to you all today. At this time last year, I don't think any of us would have predicted what was going to happen in 2020. COVID-19 has impacted everyone on the planet. As communities, companies, and individuals, we've never faced anything like this in our lifetimes. We all owe a debt of gratitude to the healthcare workers on the front lines of this pandemic and the biotech researchers working around the clock to find treatments and vaccines. At the same time, I think we should all also feel a strong sense of responsibility being a part of the electronics industry. This is an amazing industry, from putting AI and big data into the hands of the medical community to the cloud and communications technologies that are keeping the global economy running. The world is relying on semiconductors more than ever before. Virtual gatherings like this are a great example of the enabling power of semiconductors and how new ways of working not only provide solutions today, but create significant benefits over the long term. We are all learning new ways to make new connections, and I believe this will change our lives for the better. Today, I think we can all agree that we're living and working in unprecedented times, And this is what I'm going to cover in my presentation today. First, I'll talk about how the role of technology in people's lives is greatly expanding as the world adapts to current challenges and prepares for the post-pandemic era. I'll provide my perspective about the most important technology inflections of our lifetime that are accelerating the digitization of the economy. Second, I'll talk about our responsibility as leaders to make the world a better place and how in the semi-industry we're in a privileged position that our combined technologies can make a huge positive impact on a global scale. Finally, I'll look ahead to the next normal and how we can work together differently. At Applied, we call this Innovate Anywhere and Collaborate Everywhere. So let's get started with the technology trends that are reshaping our lives and our industry. The digital transformation of companies and the economy is happening right in front of our eyes, and the pace of change is accelerating. Let me give you an example which I think is striking. Today, Zoom Communications is worth more than all the major airlines in the US and Korea combined. A company that made a profit for the first time in 2019 and IPO'd later that year is now more valuable than Korean Air, Asiana, United Airlines, American, Delta, and Southwest added together. This is a great illustration not only of how things have changed, but how value is shifting. And when you think about new ways to create value, there's never been a more exciting or important time for the tech industry. As I look ahead to the next decade, our opportunities have never been better. There are numerous trillion-dollar inflections taking shape, from next-generation displays and AR/VR to electrification of transport and personalized healthcare. For me, one inflection really stands out, and that is AI. I strongly believe that AI will be the biggest inflection we see in our lifetimes. And here's why. AI has the potential to change everything. It will transform almost every industry and almost every area of the economy. Companies and countries that embrace these new technologies will lead the way, and those that don't will fall behind. In other words, adoption of AI will be non-discretionary for many. This is something that we all need to do. AI also has the potential to reshape the electronics and semiconductor industries. As we move from an application-centric world to a data-first world, growth will not be limited by humans' ability to create or consume data. All through history and into the mobility age, data was primarily generated and consumed by humans. That's the way it's always been, but now things have changed dramatically. In the AI age, more than 90% of the data will be generated and then consumed by machines. And this turns the world of data on its head. By 2030, there could be 500 billion connected devices at the edge, generating half a yottabyte of data a year. Much of that data will need to be transmitted at high speed and high bandwidth and then stored. AI, or machine learning, is about making sense of the massive amounts of data that will be available. It can provide us with analysis, prediction, actionable insights, and decision-making capabilities well beyond the abilities of human thinking or traditional computing. But this field of computing requires different hardware and software. So we're seeing a move from general purpose computing, like PCs and smartphones, that can do many things well, to customized workload-specific solutions. In this new era, there's also some major challenges that we all need to work together to overcome. This explosive growth in data generation, storage, and processing has the potential to change the world's energy equation. AI has an Achilles heel, a weakness, that unless addressed will prevent it from reaching its true potential, and that is power consumption. Training neural networks for AI computing using the semiconductor hardware that's available today is incredibly energy intensive. We predict that if we build out our AI data centers using current generation technology, they could potentially consume 15% of the world's electrical power by 2025. That's just not possible, too expensive, and would be disastrous for the planet. So this means there is an imperative to improve performance per watt of computing solutions. We're going to have to innovate new solutions to solve this problem, and we no longer have Moore's Law to help us. In the future, we will need a new playbook to drive improvements in power, performance, area cost, and the time to market of new technology. We believe the PPACT, or PPAC playbook, has 5 elements: new system architectures, new devices and 3D structures, the introduction of novel new materials, new advances in 2D geometric shrinks, and new ways to connect chips together through advanced packaging. For each element of the playbook, you can see there's a very promising pipeline of new innovations, but also a very complex set of high-value problems that need to be overcome to commercialize these technologies. At Applied, we've aligned our strategy and investments around this vision of the future so that we can work hand in hand with customers to accelerate these inflections. We bring to the table the largest and broadest portfolio of technologies and products by far, which spans creating, shaping, modifying, analyzing, and connecting structures and devices. In addition, we're creating a whole new class of equipment, which we call integrated material solutions, where we can combine multiple processes and onboard metrology within a single tool. Now let me give you some examples of why we think customized silicon and workload-specific solutions will become much more important in the future. This chart shows a simplistic way of segmenting the available market for computing. Along the x-axis is power consumption, and along the y-axis is computing performance, the number of operations per second. What you see is various zones of innovations emerge, each serving a different set of applications. Cloud data centers, where most of the training workloads will be carried out. Edge data centers, like autonomous vehicles, for example. Tethered edge devices, like a camera or voice assistant. And battery-powered edge devices, like a smartphone or a sensor. Each of these zones will become a new battleground for innovation. We are fortunate to work in an industry with a great history of innovation. Over the past 50 years, semiconductor technology has changed the world. This industry has blazed a trail in trying new things and reimagining how things can be better. I strongly believe we're in a privileged position to shape the future. I also believe that our job as leaders is to leave the world in a better place. However, with great power comes great responsibilities. And at Applied, we want to be clear about the impact that we can have and then ensure there are a comprehensive set of actions behind the vision. One way to think about our impact is with what we call the 1x, 100x, 10,000x framework. 1x is about how we operate our company, our footprint and our behavior and our standards. 100x is about how we work with our customers to support their goals. 10,000x is about the impact that our industry technology has on the world, the big global challenges we can address. The numbers are actually important. Here's the math. In 2019, Applied's carbon footprint was the equivalent of 145,000 metric tons of CO2. Then, if we think about how we partner with our customers and suppliers, semiconductor manufacturing generates 50 million tons of CO2 per year. Finally, we think about how our technology is ultimately used. In terms of magnitude, global electronics, all the PCs, tablets, servers, routers, smartphones, TVs, and so on, generate almost 1 billion tons of CO2 annually. We use this framework to drive the right type of thinking inside our company and right type of discussions with our customers and partners. But even more important is the actions we are taking. This past year, we announced new initiatives and goals to deliver our vision. In the 1X category, we've set goals to move to 100% renewable energy and reduce our overall carbon footprint by 50% over the next decade. We've set goals for recruiting and retaining underrepresented minorities in our company. We're also doubling down on initiatives to teach our leaders how to eliminate bias in our business processes, hiring and placement decisions, succession plans, and even how we run meetings so that all voices are heard. In the 100X category, we're working with our customers to increase the performance of our tools, eliminate waste, and drive productivity. We call this 3 by 30. On a per wafer basis, we're going to drive a 30% reduction in equivalent energy consumption, a 30% reduction in chemical consumption, and a 30% increase in throughput density per square foot of clean room space. We will achieve all this by 2030, averaged across our semi product portfolio. We also launched a new 10-year roadmap for supply chain sustainability, our Success 2030 program. And perhaps most significantly, to support our 10,000X vision, we focused the company's strategy and our investments to build a strong pipeline of meaningful innovations that will accelerate the PPAC-T roadmap and enable sustainable AI. We're investing more than ever before, both on an absolute and percentage basis. In 2020, we spent 70% of our total operating expense on R&D to support our customers. This brings me to the final section of my talk, which is about how we can turn the world's current challenges into accelerators for the changes we want to see. COVID-19 restrictions have stimulated many changes in the way companies in the industry are operating. While these actions are being driven by the need to achieve our near-term goals, I'm very excited about the long-term benefits of working in new ways, especially remote support and remote R&D. In a traditional way of working, flying an engineer from the US to Korea and back would generate about 2 metric tons of CO2. Further expanding secure data sharing to enhance remote support and remote development is a major opportunity for the industry, saving time, resources, and our carbon footprint. I strongly believe that Innovate Anywhere should be a significant and permanent change to the way the industry operates. It's a game changer. Over the past several years, Applied has made significant investments in state-of-the-art digital infrastructure, sensors and metrology, data science, machine learning, and simulation. The combination of these technologies enables us to reduce product development cycles, speed up transfer of new technologies from lab to fab, and optimize cost, output, and yield for our customers in volume production. We have some exciting new solutions that we're developing with our customers, and we'll share more details later this year. Finally, as we think about the direction of the industry, we can conclude that in the AI era, the drivers of innovation will diversify and technology complexity will grow significantly. I believe that to achieve the potential of AI, the entire electronics ecosystem will need to think and act differently. We need to break down barriers from materials to systems and connect dots in new ways between system designers, integrators, chip makers, equipment, and material suppliers. Throughout my career, I've seen amazing innovation come from combining technology and talent in new ways. I believe as an industry, we can take this to the next level with new types of materials to systems and systems to materials collaborations. To wrap up here, the past year has been an incredibly challenging period for everyone. At the same time, I'm reminded of how fortunate we are to be working in an industry that's making a difference. So I believe this is a time to be optimistic and look forward with confidence. We should not underestimate the power of technology and our ability to solve problems together. And the challenges the world is currently facing are an accelerator for the key inflections that can lead to a brighter tomorrow. So my call to action to all of you is to innovate anywhere and collaborate everywhere, and join us at Applied Materials as we make possible a better future. Thank you.